Welcome back to the Detroit Lions News Podcast. And I told you before we went to the next segment that I have a hardcore opinion that I think is a little bit homerish. But I feel like I'm totally right in my conjecture. So, Tyler, my opinion. Tell me this if this is homerish. Tell me if I'm kind of stupid or whatever. I believe the Detroit Lions defense will be a top 10 defense this year.
Oh, that's close, man. I It's tough. I'm gonna say from like the logical standpoint, I'm gonna say maybe slightly homerish, but I also like the potential is there. So like I can't totally look at you like you're crazy because we do have good pieces and like this is the first time Aaron Glenn's gonna be working with a defense that actually does have real talent. So like it's not like something that could not happen. I mean, I'm kind of leaning more towards like the 15 to 20 range, like 15, 16, 17.
Give me.
But
I'll give you my reason. I'll give you my reason right
but
now.
I but
You,
I can totally see it if it
you're
happened.
kind of like bro. You're kind of homer. But listen, I watched that game, right? I watched that game, and I know it's preseason, but the gap control was off the charts. And the second part about it was this might be the first time in Detroit Lions history. I mean, this is all sincerity, okay? All sincerity. The years you had Sue, your pass defense sucked. We had Cassius Vaughn in the slot, and he was giving up. His passer rating was like 119 against. Okay, so that doesn't even count. When we in 2011, when the Lions went to New Orleans and they played the Saints, that was a bad defense, horrible defense. There's been not many defenses that the Detroit Lions have had where you're like, oh,
2014, we were some dogs.
no, that doesn't count because I just said
Yeah, but dude,
Cassius Vaughn
I mean,
was bad.
we had like the what third or fourth ranked defense that
Because they
year.
were great against the run, but they weren't great against the pass, and that's what screwed them in that Dallas game. I literally think that when you look at all three levels of the defense, you look at the defensive line, you look at the defensive end position, look how deep that is. You look at the linebacker position, you got four linebackers that could possibly start. You got four: Anzalone, Derek Barnes, Malcolm Rodriguez, and Jack Campbell, who was the highest rated rookie of all first round rookies with a 90.6 Pro Football Focus grade in week one of the preseason. Okay. Then you go to the back level. Think about this. You have Jerry Jacobs. We're starting slow. You have Cam Sutton. Then look at your safeties. Chauncey Gardner Johnson, Tracy Walker, Kirby Joseph, and Brian Branch. When you talk about all that talent, like look, last year the Detroit Lions defense got better as the year went on. They had no Tracy Walker. They had an emergence of Kirby Joseph. The guy who was playing next to Kirby Joseph, I mean,
Yeah, Deshaun Elliott. Yeah,
Deshaun Elliott, was he great?
yeah,
Nah. Is Tracy Walker better?
yeah.
Yeah. Is Chauncey Gardner Johnson better?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Is Brian Branch presumably better as a rookie? I would say so. I could say that Brian Branch is going to be a pretty damn good rookie in the box. All three levels of the defense is legit. There's talent, there's depth, and there's star potential. You got star potential in the front line with Aiden Hutchinson. You might have star potential with Jack Campbell at the linebacker position. You have three stars. You have three stars, potentially three stars. I'm naming two out the first hand, which is Kirby Joseph and Chauncey Gardner Johnson, because Chauncey Gardner Johnson was ranked the eighth best safety by like scouts and coaches and players. You have probably the most talented defense on all three levels that you ever had.
Which is crazy because I just realized too that like CJ, um, Chauncey Gardner Johnson is only 25.
Only 25.
I mean, like, you know what's crazy? What's a wild card about this whole thing is that everyone's always like, yeah, he's gonna stay 1 year here, do good, go get a payday somewhere. We could be the place where he gets the payday, bro. Like, he
Right.
could resign and then get a bag here. And like,
Even
if they were like, hey, we're gonna, and if he comes out like next year and he absolutely tears the roof off this place, and we say, hey, yeah, we're gonna give him a like 4 year, $62 million deal, I'm not gonna be mad at it. I'm not.
no. I mean, just just
Like,
just think about it. Just think about it like this, okay? Even if he left and Brian Branch took over, are you going to be like, "Oh man,
And by the way, I don't think Chauncey Gardner Johnson would get 60 million anyways, because that's
Right.
not the premium we put on that kind of player. But if he got 4 years for 50 or 4 for 45, and he actually played the lights out, like I wouldn't be mad at that at all.
I think the Lions are in a great spot because they have a guy like Brian Branch is under a rookie contract. They have Kirby Joseph who is under a rookie contract, and Tracy Walker is already paid, so they don't have to worry about that.
Well, and that's how this Lions defense is gonna be fun in the future because people are like, well, you're gonna have to draft every year. What are you gonna do? You have all these studs. Like, you know what you do? You start replacing guys with other guys because guys can't all get paid. You're not at one point. You're not gonna be able to pay Aiden Hutchinson, Panay Sewell, Amin Ra, Kirby Joseph. You know, Aiden Hutchinson, Jameer. You're not gonna be able to pay all these guys at the same
You
time. You
draft,
can't.
you're drafting every year to get, and the fact that Brett Holmes potentially got a starter or maybe like a depth player in Starling Thomas out of the UDFA pool tells you he's legit. Like, look at the late round picks he's got.
Hmm.
You got Amon-Ra St. Brown. You got Malcolm Rodriguez. So you got Jerry Jacobs and Starling Thomas. Like those guys. Like he's went out there in the undrafted free agents and said starter, maybe a starter. He
Well, yeah,
went.
because there's gonna be a point in time where like look, you're going to lose somebody like, you know,
You can't.
Rodrigo, Kirby
Yeah, you
Joseph.
can't pay everyone.
You're gonna lose somebody that's good that you liked, but you know what? If you lose out on a guy, say you miss out on a, you can't sign, one of your guys, right? You can't sign Rodrigo, and you really like him. Well, he'll find another guy in the fourth round from some college somewhere that's gonna come in and do the same shit for another 4 years for free, or not for free, but for cheap. Like that's the part about football is
Might as
you
well be
continually,
free.
yeah, you continually, draft to replace the guys that you can't afford to keep, and that's a good thing. Like, I mean, that's how like, dude, do you remember a time where the Steelers defense was necessarily bad? Because I really don't. You remember a time where
No,
the Ravens defense was necessarily bad? Because I really don't. You
no.
know what I mean? Like, I
You
mean,
just
these guys,
you
you can.
find guys like you go out there and you find guys that fit your culture. And what I'm most excited about this defense is Aaron Glenn has not had as much talent as he has right now. Okay, and the one thing that will help you on the defensive side of the ball is rushing the passer. When you got an abundance of guys who can rush the passer, and we're talking about Julian Okwara and Romeo Okwara potentially getting cut, that tells you everything you need to know about how deep that defensive end is. You have Kaminsky, you have Pascal, you have Houston, you have Charles Harris, you have Aiden Hutchinson. Boom. Then you say, oh, Ali McNeil lost 30 pounds. Maybe his pass rush is better. And then you put Broderick Martin in the middle or Isaiah Buggs. You're talking about a totally different defense than last year. So that's what I think. I don't know. Do you still think it's a homerish opinion or no?
I mean, I can see your points. I don't think necessarily it's realistic for them to reach top 10. But like I said, I personally feel like, listen, to me though, if they end up like, I'm thinking like 15 through 18. Even if they do end as the 15th or 16th, like, so basically middle of the road, they were like freaking 28th, like 30th most of the
They
year
were
last
one of
year.
the worst defenses.
I
Yeah,
mean, but I mean, the last 8 weeks that I think they were ended up being like ninth overall in
yeah.
like DVOA
That's what I'm
for
saying, dude.
defense.
That's what I'm saying. They're gonna
But
be a better
and
defense.
I could see that, but yeah, I'm saying even in the entirety of the year, if you're anywhere from like the 13 to 17 range, that is way good enough for what we need, bro. It really is. But and that's what I said earlier is that I don't like if they were to end like ninth, 10th, 11th, like in that range. I'm not gonna look at you like some crazy person and be like, oh, you're a total idiot for thinking that they could reach that, because I do think it's like it is possible. No, do I? I see like I realistically see us being closer to the middle of the pack, 15, 16, 17 than I do at 9, 10, 11. But if it were to happen, I would not look at you and be like, oh, wow, that I did not expect that. That was insane. Because like you said, dude, we have a lot of talent in a lot of areas, and this team has got the juice right now, bro. They are hyped. They are ready to go. And then you got all these guys who are these like X factors, like, but I mean, you don't know who's going to get hurt and who's going to stay healthy,
Right.
but you're assuming everyone stays healthy. I mean, you got guys like you said, like, I mean, you got John Kaminsky, you got all, the Aquara brothers, you got depth for days, and then you get a guy back like Emmanuel Mosley, which I heard recently that he's not even close. to being ready.
But if you got depth for once, you got depth at the cornerback
But
position.
if he can come back in like
And I know,
week
and I
6, week 8, I mean,
and I know people don't like Will Harris, but when Will Harris is your fourth best cornerback or your fourth guy on your cornerback rotation, that's not a bad thing. See, we all looked at him like he was in the Chauncey Gardner Johnson role, the Brian Branch role. Okay, we didn't think about him being like the fourth cornerback on a good team,
right.
and that's all he has to be.
I still hate him
Because
so much.
because when you get to the fourth or fifth cornerback on a team, usually they're kind of like bums.
Like, yeah,
Oh, don't say it. Anyway,
Will Harris is a bum too, but
I think Will Harris could be useful, especially if you got the guy like Cam Sutton or Jerry Jacobs next to him. I really think that Cam
Jerry
Sutton's
Jacobs, dude, Jerry Jacobs hypes me up, bro. I follow him on Twitter, and that dude is like he wants the smoke 24/7. He loves football. Like I love Jerry Jacobs. He's a dog. Like that
yeah,
dude's a beast.
he's really good, so I like it.
I mean, he's like Jerry. Like again, like you were just the point you were just making. If Jerry Jacobs is your third or fourth string corner, like you're gonna be all right. Like
Oh, for sure.
you know what I mean. You're gonna be all right. Well, did you see that was a couple weeks ago they put out. They said like the highest was he like had like one of the like the one of the best tandems when it comes to locking down and man coverage
Yeah,
is
something like that. But that's what I'm saying about this defense.
like
Though
him and Cam Sutton were some of like the best man corners in all of football.
that's what I'm saying. Like I think this defense is going to be top 10. I'm confident of it. I'm putting it out there.
Well, I'm curious to see what the hell
And
Aaron Glenn's gonna do.
I told you people, remember when I said it? I told you that Aaron Glenn and that defense would get it together, and they definitely did. And then I told you they would go on a run, and they definitely did. And I was right on the money with my prediction last year. So let's see what if I'm right again.
I'm looking forward to it, man. Let's get it rolling.
All right, look, we're gonna get to our closing thoughts. I think Tyler has a couple closing thoughts. I have a couple closing thoughts, and we'll end the podcast there because we're gonna have a great season, and this is gonna be a lot of fun, especially with the team being potentially a good team. We'll see you in the next segment.